Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I've been playing around with some texture. I've been using some modelling paste on canvas. I don't know if you've seen any of those. I'll actually link a couple of them in the description box just in case you want to check those out as well. But I've got some modelling paste left over, and I've got an old canvas actually. One that's got a few specks of paint on it. I've mask taped off the edges, so I've put I want to create like a border for this. So I'm going to use this canvas, I'm going to use my modelling paste as well, and I want to put all this modelling paste on the canvas and create some different texture on the canvas and then paint it. So just a little bit different, just playing around with my creativity. I've got some thoughts in my mind about some creations that I'd like to do but go big on. So before I do any of that, I like to experiment, test the medium that I'm using and see how it reacts with different colour palettes, different textures, different surface areas. So that's what I'm doing today. I'll take you down just so you can see how I've prepared the canvas. I'll give you a little bit more detail about that, plus some of the tools I'm going to use. I might use a comb, I might use a spreader with some edges on. I'm just going to see how this goes. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see what we can create. Okay, so here's my table. You'll see I've got a canvas. I've got it on a turntable because when I use my texture, I want to be able to easily move around my canvas. So rather than moving around the table, the canvas itself can move. It's got a few splodges of paint on. I've dripped paint on by mistake, but that's not going to stop me using this canvas. I've created like a border for the canvas. I've just used some masking tape and I've almost kind of created that frame by masking tape all around the edges, and I'm going to work on this area here, this canvas itself. I've not prepared it in any way. This is just a canvas bought off the shelf. There's no other kind of medium on it to begin with, but I am going to use some paste. This is just modelling paste, as you can see, very thick. So the idea is to put this on the canvas, spread the modelling paste with my palette knife, and then use different tools to create different texture. So I've got a comb there, I've got a couple of spreaders with different edges. So I'm just going to see where my creativity takes me, and I'll talk about the colour palette once it's dry. So I'm just taking all of the modelling paste out of the cup using my palette knife, and then I'm going to spread that paste across all of that canvas, all of that surface area. I'm going to go over the masking tape slightly because when I remove the masking tape, I want it to leave a clean edge. And then once I've finished this creation, right at the end when I'm doing some brush work, I will go over the canvas with black paint around those edges just to create that kind of frame effect. So I'm just taking the palette knife now and spreading that modelling paste across that surface area. So I'm now just going to take a couple of the tools and create some different texture and some different shapes across this modelling paste. You can see here I'm using a scraper. It has jagged edges, so I'm just dragging it from one side to the other, just to create some lines. I'm then going to do like a hatch effect, so I'm just going to go in the opposite direction and it's going to create different shapes, just little tiny squares across this piece. I now want to make the other part really smooth. So I'm just taking this wedge and I'm just using the wedge to create a smooth surface. And now I'm going to use this tool. And again, I'm just going to press into the modelling paste, gently turn the canvas as I move the tool from one side to the other. And it's going to create almost like a semicircle, but with some texture in between. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep that hatching that I've just created. In fact, I think I'm going to smooth that out and create another semicircle, but on the opposite side. And that's one great thing about the modelling paste. You can decide to change your mind halfway through. So I'm going to just take my palette knife and I'm just going to smooth out this part of the canvas, almost kind of delete what I've already done. And that's what I love about this form, because you can be in your creative space, a new idea might come in and you can just change it up. So I'm going to go exactly the same again and do a semicircle. As you can see, this is going to be a very simple design, but sometimes less is more. So I'm just going to take my palette knife and I'm just creating a different shape now by placing the palette knife into the paste, applying a little bit of pressure and then just swiping it to the outer edge. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well, just to reflect that mirror image. I'm not going to create any other texture, so I'm now going to take the masking tape off of each edge and you'll see the clean edge that it creates. Okay, I'm really happy with this. I'm going to take you in now for a close-up before I paint this creation. In fact, I'm going to just place this to one side, and this type of modelling paste takes between 24 to 40 hours to dry, just at room temperature, and then I'm able to paint over the top of it. And I'm kind of feeling a green and gold creation coming on. So I'm going to take you in shortly to see the paints I've picked to do the brushwork. Okay, so it's fully dry. These are the colours that I'm going for. I'm not going to go for every single one, but I am going to do some blending with my paintbrush. So green is going to feature, but the two semicircles, I really want to have a striking gold. So I do have some of my Deco Art 24 karat gold left over, so I'm going to use that in those semicircles. So this part of the process is literally applying the paint in those areas. What colours will you go for if you do something similar? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm always interested to hear what colour palette you're drawn to. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. I've used a few green tones in that middle section, done some blending, using just a lighter and a darker green. And then I've painted the semicircles gold, but I've done a silver edging around the trim of those golden circles. It's been fun. I am loving the experimentation with the modelling paste, and I really hope you've had fun too. And I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week ahead, everyone. Take care, and whatever you're up to creatively, I hope you're having fun. See you soon. Bye.